What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the SCUF controller review. Today, like I said, like you guys can see by the title, we're going to be reviewing the SCUF controller. Thank you to all the new viewers and returning viewers. Hope you guys are having a good day. So, we're going to be doing a pros and cons list to review this controller right here. Paddles on the back, analogs front. It's a pro controller, basically. This is the SCUF Infinity F4 PS Pro, sorry. And so, starting with the pros, I'm going to be listing off the attributes and showcasing them really to the best of my ability. Number one has to be, obviously, the competitive advantage that you get once you buy the controller. So, I also actually have a list of pros and cons. So, here are those right now. I'll just read them off. You got the competitive advantage, so you're going to get more actions per minute, swifter movement over time, and it's very customizable. When you purchase a controller, you can change the colors of the whole controller itself, the buttons or the analogs, and the grip texture, so you have better grip and less friction when you're playing. You can customize the triggers and the bumpers to have less reaction time, so there's a faster click, or you can have the vibration element in there or taken out of there, up to you. And the types of paddles that you have on the back can be standard or reactive. These ones are standard. Reactive paddles are more placed on the side near the places where your thumbs are or your fingers, like right here. So they're just a different way to hold it. And then you can obviously remap any of the buttons to these buttons back here. So you can remap, like I said, these buttons in the front to the back. Those are the pros about the controller, and the cons are pretty much all wear and tear related. Deforming analogs, paddles breaking, and sticky buttons, which happens to regular controllers as well. And so that's an overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get right into it. Oh, that is definitely the wrong screen. So like I said, starting with the pros, we got the competitive advantage you're going to be getting. You're obviously going to be able to, once you buy the controller, get a little feel for it, spend some time getting used to the placement of the paddles, and obviously remap the buttons to where you want them to go. You're going to get a competitive advantage over the people you're playing against who don't use a pro controller or anything to give them a competitive edge. So honestly, I started using my controller, and within a year and a half, I could tell that I was getting better. But within like 6 months, 7, 8 months, you can really get it, honestly, quicker too. Like, you'll get a feel for the controller right when you pick it up and you start playing with it. It'll be a little weird at first, obviously, because you're not used to it, but gamers are pretty adaptable. So if you're buying this, you're not gonna not adapt to it. So, but like I said, I was pretty comfortable after 6 or 7 months, like extremely comfortable, I should say, at that point, obviously. And I can notice that I was having changes in my gameplay, changes in my movement. I was having more actions per minute way before that, and I could definitely tell that my movement had gotten cleaner, and I could do more while doing things at the same time. That's what this stuff allows you to do. More actions per minute. You can click, look around, and jump. Those kind of things. Do two things at once, basically, while other players can't. And so the way you're able to customize things as well is also, just another reason why this controller sets itself apart from other controllers that just have buttons that come pre-programmed. So obviously we talked about how you can customize the colors. You can make it any color you want. I have this black controller here, but I didn't do much of that one because it was my second one and I didn't want to spend that much on it. I just wanted a new one to replace this one, which I did a lot to. And as you can see, I have blue analogs, green and red, or blue buttons, green and red analogs, and I took the paddles off this one and put them on this one. We'll get to that. But you can do exactly what you want with them, pretty much, and you can't do that with many other controllers. I do think SCUF is one of the few companies besides like Battle Beaver and the departments of Sony and Xbox that create their own competitive controllers that are setting themselves apart in the sense that you can get a competitive edge and customize the controller to fit your personality type. And so obviously, like I said, you can customize the colors, then the triggers. Now, know what the triggers are? That's these things right here on the back. And you can have it so they stop sooner. And so you're still getting the action, like you're still clicking the button, but there's no need to really have the full motion and click the controller or the trigger the entire way in, because there's just not a reason for it to be there. Or for it's, I know it's for a more realistic feel, and it does give it that, but it's not necessary when it comes to playing competitive games, and it does give you a disadvantage. Now, I know most people don't have it, and so you could argue that it's not really a disadvantage, but it is if some people do and you don't. So, yeah, you can get that only on the bottom triggers, though, not the top bumpers. But like I said, the paddles, those, honestly, I am going to do another video on just the two different kinds of paddles, standard and reactive. Like I said, these ones are standard and they work well for me. I love them. I honestly do want, like I said, want to give the reactive ones a try, not to permanently switch, because I do like these ones. I'm comfortable at this point and there's no reason for me to switch. But if I were to start out, I would definitely try standard and reactive to see which one I feel more comfortable with. But moving on to, last but not least, the remappable buttons. Now, I haven't actually done this because the controller comes pre-mapped to X and circle, which is all I wanted it to. And so I haven't had to use the mapping mechanism that they give you, but I do have one, and it does cost like $12 or $15 extra to add to the order when you get it, but it's worth it if you want to, one, have 4 paddles, and because I only have 2, but you can have 4 on different controllers, and so you do want to have the remapping capabilities if you're going to have other controllers. Just realized there was no music playing. You know, it's not that big of a deal. So that was the pros that we just went through. Now we're going to go through the cons, and we'll be out of here. This is a very short live stream, boys and girls. Hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you for all the people who are in here right now live streaming, while I'm live, sorry. Returning viewers and new viewers. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe to, you know, get more reviews like this on gaming accessories and whatnot. Next, like I said, we have the cons. Now, this is really where things start to get, you know, unfortunate, whatever word you want to use, but you're not really going to know the cons of the controller until you buy it and start using it a lot, because that's what the wear and tear is. And so, number one is the analogs. Now, I got a little graveyard of them here, actually. And this isn't one, but I got a little graveyard of them here. You can see after a long time, sorry, they start to deform. This one's extreme, but they start to deform and get just nasty overall. Like the blue one, oh, I actually have a red going. All right, so the red analog on the controller, that's pretty good, right? That's not too bad at all. Then there's this one. I don't know how much of a difference you think there is, but, you know, naked eye, pretty big difference. And so, yeah, analogs don't deteriorate too fast, but they do deteriorate over time. I'd say 6 months, 7 months if you're a frequent player is a decent, you know, time span in between where you should be replacing them. And I would consider it just having some on the side. That's what I do at this point. I got these ones, and so I'm actually out right now. I don't have any, but I would just have some on the side ready for when those ones get, you know, unusable. There's nothing wrong with being prepared, obviously. And I'm actually reading off a script here, or at least somewhat of a script. Actually, I will say this. If you guys do want some analogs, they are going to be linked in the description, along with anything else on the controller that would need replacing, such as the paddles or the analogs, or if you say were to lose your remap little circle that comes with the SCUF, then that will also be linked in the description, so you guys can purchase that very quickly and very easily, and that will also support the channel. So if that is something you need, that is in the description. And the next wear and tear is the paddles, and I have one right here as well. This one was actually a surprise to me. I wasn't aware that this was a thing or that this was going to happen. My paddle broke. It snapped in half. I was playing, and I don't know if I was clicking it too far down here or if I was clicking it too hard overall, but she gave. And she snapped right where the tension probably mostly is, obviously, and I had to order some new ones. Luckily, I had 2 controllers, and so I just took the ones from that one and put them on the other one, because they both snapped in the same day within like 20 minutes. Not ideal in the slightest bit. So that happened, and I then was aware that paddles were not perpetual in as far as durability. Now you know. But now you know, the paddles are still very good. They still do last for a very long time. I'm not saying that you need to replace them every week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like, you don't even need to replace them as much as the analogs, as long as you're not playing. I mean, depending on what you play and how hard you're spamming the paddles. But yeah, you do not need to replace the paddles as much as the analogs, in my opinion. But you do need to honestly have at least one pair on the side, just in case. You know, if you're a little rough, say like, you know, you're like me, I played with Legos as a kid, and so I know how to handle things gently and not destroy things when I'm clicking them or playing with them. And I think that really benefited me. And I think that really benefited me playing with Legos and some things. So just don't click them hard. And if you do, be prepared for them to break. Like, you'll honestly be able to tell when they start to give more than usual, and that is when you should start considering to pick some up on the side and just keep them there, and that will be linked in the description as well. Next, we have, last but not least, the sticky paddles. These are, this isn't really, what's the word? Isolated to controllers that are competitive based, but dude, I'm fucking up my entire screen right now. But this, like I said, isn't really just for controllers that are competitive based. This relates to all controllers. And last one, sticky paddles right here, very bottom. Sticky paddles and sticky buttons, I will say. Actually, this one does just relate to the controller that's competitive. I'm sorry. I should have noticed when I was saying sticky paddles and not just buttons. But sticky paddles. This controller right here, yellow one, had some sticky paddles. Not fun to deal with, because your paddles click on these little buttons right here below where the paddles go. And I didn't know that for a long time. At least I didn't know what they were clicking. And I knew, because I knew there was a button, but I didn't know where the button was, because it's directly under the paddle and it's very small, hard to see. But despite the fact that it's very small, it still can get stuff lodged between the rim of it, and so it's very important that you're keeping the paddle button on the back clear of any debris, cleaning it very frequently, and keeping your controller just in tip-top shape, because that is what I've noticed tends to be one of the most daunting things on these controllers, is the sticky paddles. And when that goes, it will never be the same controller again. I promise you. You will have either both be sticky or in work, like most of the time, but sometimes it'll give you some problems. Or there's really only 3 options. The first one I just said, or they stop working completely, or one is sticky and one isn't, and it stays like that forever. That's your 3 options. One sticky and one isn't. It stops working completely, or they're both sticky. And honestly, I've only experienced one being sticky and one not being sticky, and I don't think any of mine stopped working. Or I think my yellow one is forever sticky, actually. Actually, I don't think so. My black one is forever sticky. In a way, it's like on and off, but that just is what it is. And you know, it's not bad. It's a noticeable thing when you click it, but it's not something that, in my opinion, at least after you get used to it, if you're just gonna keep the controller and keep using it, will hinder your gameplay. So with that being said, honestly, that is a great spot to end the video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys go follow me on these socials up above, because that is where you can see me post semi-daily or more frequent than I post on YouTube, considering how long it takes to, you know, conjure up a video and get everything into place. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, the SCUF review, SCUF 4PS Pro Infinity review, and I'll see you guys in my next stream or when the next upload is uploaded. Thank you.